It is Saturday evening, January 22nd, and I would like to share a few thoughts about a couple different things. But before I get into that, I want to express my gratitude for modern technologies, especially computers, my Chromebook that I'm using right now, the fact that we can record information and pass this on to other generations. And the reason I say that right from the beginning is that I had the privileged opportunity to listen to one of Jordan Peterson's videos recently that he has recorded, I guess a year ago. And the fact that he was able to record this information, I was able to listen to it, and I was able to learn from this, and it ties into what I want to share in this video right now. And the video that I'm referring to is called Jordan Peterson Dreams About Jesus Christ. And I'm just going to share a little bit from the first part, and I will also share the link in the description box for anyone who wants to watch it in its entirety. In this particular dream, it starts off with Jordan is saying that he had a dream once. And in his dream, he was in the cemetery of an old church, an old cathedral. And the cathedral was surrounded by the graves, but different graves, and there were indentations in the grounds where all the graves were, and all of a sudden these graves started to open up, and what was coming out of these graves were great people, great men of the past that had been buried there. These were a selection, a group of kings, royalties, nobility, famous heroes, formidable figures from the past. And as his dream progressed, these kings, these heroes from the past, because they were warrior kings, as I'm saying here, being warrior types, they immediately started to fight. And the question that came up is, what stops the great kings of the past from fighting? So the dream progresses. He had a revelation after the dream, and in his he said he thinks it was part of the dream. Okay, yes, it was part of the dreams, that they had all bowed down to the figure of Jesus Christ. So the figure of Jesus Christ says, what in the world does that mean? Could possibly mean that the kings from the past had one king that they all bowed down to. And I wrote down a couple of his quotes that he said that meant a lot to me personally. And he said that even the tyrannical king has someone to bow his knee to. And he also makes a comment to that it says that you have a spark of divinity within you, and that divinity is a reflection of this transcendent good. So this just really blessed me, because it made me think of a couple different scriptures. One is in Acts chapter 2, verse 17, and it says, in the last days, God says that he will pour out his Spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy, your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams. This is a promise that God made, and this is a fulfillment too for those who, like in Jordan Peterson's case, that he had this dream, and for any of the rest of us who have had dreams or visions. This is just a fulfillment of that verse. And there's another verse in Philippians 2, verses 10 and 11, and I will share those scriptures in the description box too, when the Lord says that every knee shall bow, everyone will confess that Jesus is the Lord. But the main other thing that I really wanted to talk about has to do with Occupy. And I was reading a little devotion just this morning, and this is in Luke 19. I just want to share a few of these verses. And in Luke chapter 19, Jesus is giving a parable, and it says right in verse 12, and when I'm reading this, I want you to keep in mind the dream that Jordan Peterson had, where there were famous kings from the past, and then Jesus appeared, who is the king of all the kings, and all of the other kings bowed down to Jesus, the King of Kings. And Luke 19, verse 12, Jesus said, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. Jesus is talking about himself here. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, Occupy until I come. And that's the main focus of my video today, when Jesus said, Occupy till I come. But the citizens around him hated him and sent a message after him, saying, We will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Then came the first, saying, Lord, your pound has gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, Well, thou good servant, because you have been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound has gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, Be thou over 5 cities. And I'm going to go down to verse 26. For I say unto you that unto every one which hath been given, and from him that has not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. So there's a little bit more in that context, but the main idea thought that I wanted to express was when Jesus said to occupy till I come. And I found a couple different articles that I also include those links in the description. But this one here, it says occupy till I come. It says staying faithful in the Lord's work. And there's a very good comment that I wanted to share here. All right, and it says, the word occupy means to invest with the intent of increase. They are not simply to keep the pound safe. And the whole idea of this here is that in this article, and I agree with what this person is saying, it says, having gifts differing according to the grace given unto us, we too are to occupy. All of us have been given some kind of a gift, some kind of a talent, and the Lord doesn't measure on the success as far as, and like the way a lot of other people might measure success. He's looking at what we are doing with what has been given to us and being faithful in that. And this article here says we are to invest our time, our talents, our individual treasures, our uniqueness, and the opportunities for the Lord so that God's work is advanced and can multiply. And those are just my thoughts for tonight as far as sharing the gifts, the things that we have, whether we think they're big or small, just being faithful in just these little things. So I will include this information in the description box because there's a lot of really good things for you to look into on your own, and because the articles are lengthy, and especially check out Jordan Peterson's video because I was really blessed by watching that. So I hope that this information will be a blessing to you as well. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.